Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bond. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. Welcome back to Be Visible with Veronica. Last week's episode with Dawn Stebbing will have you stepping into 2026 with confidence, with flair, and with style. And she shares some tips around how you can do that and what that looks like when you talk to yourself in the mirror for a little while. So make sure you go back and take a listen. But today, all the way from the OC, we have an incredible emerging leader who 10x'd her business in 2 years. Khryzza Kelley with CoWorq. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica.
Thank you. I was looking forward to this because I've seen a lot of clips and episodes of Veronica's podcast, and I'm just so excited to be here, finally in the flesh, with all these amazing things, and of course, amazing Veronica.
Well, thank you, Khryzza. That's great. You know, we met in August at an ewomennetwork conference. For those of you who don't know what that is, you should take a look. But it's an international or global networking group. And you were not only nominated by the Orange County chapter as an emerging leader, and an emerging leader is someone from the age of 21 to 29 who is growing a successful business as an entrepreneur, and they really look at how you support the community, how you've supported your growth, what it looks like for you, and how you're giving back as this young entrepreneur, really making a difference. And you won the entire thing. And we had our Phoenix chapter nominated Jade Quinn from Smooth Ops Solution. And I think was there 7 or 8 of you?
Yeah, I think 8 or 7 or 8.
And then you won as a nominee, or out of all the emerging leaders, you were nominated as the emerging leader of the year. So congratulations there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an amazing group of women who are also nominated from all around the United States. So it's an honor to be included and, of course, to be awarded as emerging leader of the year.
Well, we connected again because you're coming in as a speaker, so all the way from the OC to share your brilliance. But I really wanted you to pour into the community today that is either listening or watching on how you were able to 10x your business in 2 years, working side by side with your husband. And you started your company CoWorq back in 2021, correct?
Correct.
So, and of course, the viewers are going to look at your earrings, and they're like, oh my gosh, tell me. There's so many stories going on here on the set. And
yes,
so I want to start with what made you step into entrepreneurship at a young age, and then partner with a husband who you guys had just got married, and you're like, let's go, we're all in.
Yeah.
So tell us that origin story.
Oh, definitely. So, well, I'm a Filipina, so this is actually a Philippine flag on my right ear, and then the American flag on the other ear, just showcasing both of the cultures that I now hold very, very dear. But the funny thing was, I never really planned on becoming an entrepreneur. I was an advocate first. I was a student leader when I was younger. I was the youngest female parliamentarian to the National Youth Parliament in the Philippines. Wow. I was also the very first person from the southern part of the Philippines to be the national chairperson of Student Council Alliance of the Philippines. So all of the student council have their own chair. And at that time, because I had an advocacy mindset, I have been very community driven. So just looking at, okay, what else can I do for my fellow young leaders at that time, my fellow student leaders from all around the country at that time. But then I got burnt out working in the nonprofit space, because I was also part of it too was lobbying for bills that are impacting the Filipino youth at the time. Okay. So I got burned out working in the nonprofit and in the political space, so I made a hard pivot to the corporate field. And in the corporate world, I was in HR. In fact, my very last job in corporate America, I was a learning and development manager. So kind of like people mindset and advocacy mindset.
Okay.
And
was that in the States?
Yes, here in the States,
here
in the U.S. And then in 2021, when everything became remote because of the pandemic, you know this,
Yes.
a lot of people became remote. There was a huge demand for virtual assistants at the time from the Philippines. But then, because it's an international transaction, there's no regulation about it. There's no minimum wage. There's no concept of benefits. There's literally nothing in terms of regulations. So what happened was a lot of our Filipino virtual assistants up until today are still getting paid $1 an hour. So when
$1 an hour.
yes. So when
That's not
I learned that,
is that even a living wage?
no, it's not a living wage. In the Philippines, definitely not a living
Well,
wage.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
Many
yeah.
people listening might not realize
Yeah, definitely
that.
not.
So, oh my gosh, they were being
Yeah.
taken advantage of, basically.
Yes. So to
without any
me-
government regulations saying, no, you can't do that.
Definitely not. Here in the United States, nobody's really preventing you from hiring somebody from anywhere around the world. And in their home country, like the Philippines, nobody's also regulating it. So to me, as going back to my advocacy roots and to my HR people management roots, my question was, why is this happening? Why is nobody doing anything about it? If nobody's going to do it, I'm just going to do it. And that's how I started my business. It's a long story, but that's how I got started.
No, but that's how entrepreneurs start their journey.
Yeah.
There's a problem that needs a solution, and somebody's willing to step into that solution.
Yes, definitely.
And whether they're through their own lived experience or their own association with something that's causing them to have a solution, they go, wait a minute, I can't be the only one that's dealing with this. And you're affecting a country.
Yeah.
Tell us about CoWorq.
So what CoWorq does, we serve two groups of people. We serve my fellow small business owners here in the United States, because most small businesses will never scale. Even here in the United States, most of small businesses will never scale. Most of them will stagnate until eventually their doors will close and they'll close their business.
So let's pause on that, because I want to address maybe why that is, because there's a lot of brand new startup entrepreneurs listening to this podcast and watching the show. And there's also seasoned ones. So how can this community that's listening learn from something you're going to say next? Why do you think that is?
It's important because when we talk about scaling your business, it's not just about having the money to scale your business. Because that's the number one thing that we always think about. Like, oh, I want to scale my business, but I don't have more money to put in. But it's not about more money to put in. It's not about having an investor. It's not about having a venture capital firm investing in your business. It's actually
Finding
more than
seed
that.
money.
Yeah.
What level are you at?
Exactly. Like that's just part of the big equation in scaling your business. Because I was able to 10x my business without angel investor, without venture capital firm, without injecting more capital other than the initial capital that I bootstrapped my business in.
Nice.
So most businesses will never scale, but there are ways that we can scale. And we will. And we need to have more businesses to be able to scale, because small businesses are the backbone of our economy.
I love that you shared that, because when I had been in my business for a while and I was loving the clients that I was working with, but it was starting to cause pain points because I wasn't growing at the pace I wanted to grow. I invested in a business coach and I 10x'd my business in 9 months. And I didn't have the initial investment to go into this big arena, invest in this coach, but I knew I could bet on me. And I found a way to fund this coaching. And in 9 months, it more than paid for that initial investment. And that was a $38,000 investment at the time.
Yeah.
And then I turned right around and invested in another mastermind. And that was quite a bit more than that.
Yeah.
But I've turned around and now made an impact. So what I struggled with is, as I'm married for 37 years, and we were talking about that earlier, but I had always put everything in my husband's name. I was always doing everything with him. Even when we worked side by side, he was the 51% on the S Corps. I was the 50. I'm the vice president. I'm the secretary on the back end. When I went to go get a small business loan or an extended line of credit, which was what my first business coach told me to do, or maybe my second. Yeah, my second. I couldn't qualify on my own. And they said, well, if you had your husband's name on this, I'm like, I don't want to put my husband's name on this. So I got really clear on what I needed to do to establish my own credit, the things that I needed to switch and put my name on. And even by changing things on like the cable bill and the cell phone bill and making it, my credit started to go up. And then now I have to bat them away and say, no, I've already said I don't need your funding. Thank you very much. But
not anymore.
I'll take the grant. Thank you.
We like
or
grants.
the 0% interest for 6 months that I can apply for now and get. But it took some awareness around that.
For sure.
And what I realize in my coaching, a lot of women don't know that. They have no clue that those are some of the things they should be doing in the beginning. What do you think are some of the things that help a business scale in the beginning so they don't close their doors from a concept that I know is on their heart?
I think what really helped me, because my industry is a high trust industry. They can't just buy our service because they saw an ad, but they become our client because they trust us. So it's a high trust industry that I'm part of. And if you're in a high trust industry, you have to be in the right rooms. That's what really 10x my business, being in the right rooms with the right people. Because as a small business owner, you're gonna have, and I think a lot of us have experienced this, you're going to join a lot of business events, a lot of conferences, you're going to meet a lot of people, a lot of networking groups, but not all events and not all groups are the right groups for you. So you have to have that trial and error, and at the same time, courage to say, no, this is not the right room for me, and also to say, this is the right room for me, I'm going to go all in.
Even when it scares you.
Even when it scares you.
Even if you don't think you belong in that room. That's often the room you belong in.
Yes. Even when you feel like, ooh, I'm not sure if I deserve to be in this room, because we're going to have imposter syndrome.
Of course.
But that's also the signal that you are scaling, that you are now shifting your identity from $1,000 entrepreneur to now $1 million entrepreneur. And I've read from one of the books called The Science of Scaling that it's not actually how fast your systems can adapt to your new profit line or your new revenue line, but how fast can you shift your identity from being $1,000 entrepreneur to now $1 million entrepreneur.
I'm so glad you shared that, Khryzza, because part of my visibility advantage and the visibility framework I created in my business really focuses on visibility isn't vanity, it's vital, but it doesn't mean you're everywhere. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you say yes to everything. And what people think as visibility, sometimes they go right to social media, and that's not always the visibility piece.
No.
And it's really, first you have to own your own voice and who you are. You have to look at your own leadership, your own growth, your own mindset, your own mission. Really own what you're out there talking about. And then, okay, what does that look like from scaling from that visibility space? And when you have that confidence that, yes, I'm no longer the $1,000 entrepreneur, I'm the 7-figure girl, like seven-figure female, like let's go there or beyond. And I deserve to pull up a chair and have a seat in that room. And what I realized too is if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And if you aren't bold enough to invest in yourself and go forward at big leaps, then how do you expect people to say yes to you and your product and service?
Exactly. And I think it's also the same when you have a team of people that you lead, because now you're not just a business leader, you're a people leader. And I always tell to my team that, you know what, I really try as much as I could to, as fast as I could, learn the things that I don't know yet, because I truly believe that my team can only go as far as I go. So as fast as I could in terms of learning what exactly it is that I don't know yet, whether it's about selling, whether it's about visibility, or whether it's about networking or creating irresistible offers, those juicy offers. I need to learn them as fast as I could, because if I don't, that's the thing that I bear as a people leader and as the owner of my business.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because you are leading people and you are growing and scaling. And we were talking about when it's uncomfortable, when you have to let go of team in order to find the next team that's going to grow with you. You developed a company that you support women entrepreneurs and men. You support businesses across the country, male or female owned, corporate or solopreneurs, with your structure and your new business. So let's talk about that business model that you decided to develop and implement, because that is and the give back to the country and your workers there. So let's talk about how you're very mission oriented as well.
Yes, we are on a mission to help 1 million small businesses scale with purpose, while also helping 1 million Filipino remote professionals. So our mission is very heavy in a sense that we want our clients to scale, because when they scale, our Filipino remote professionals can also scale and grow with them. It's a very heavy task. It's a bold mission, but that's the point of having a moonshot.
Yes, this is true.
That's the point of having a moonshot. You don't know the how. I truly believe the how will sort itself out.
It
will sort itself out.
People are sitting there listening to us right now thinking, I can't control anything other than the how I'm going to go do it. So I'm going to choose how I'm going to. And you don't need to know the how. You just have to know the why and and I hate that because that's so overused.
I know.
But that mission and that message, that's very heart-centered in your in the calling, you're here to be and do and serve. And often those struggles we go through that make us create solutions are on purpose so that we can be in purpose.
Yeah.
And I love that mission and message behind what it is you do, because who doesn't want to be part of that when they partner with you and they say yes to you and CoWorq and your company? So you are developing programs and systems around helping the businesses scale and grow. And you said, how can I ask my team to be doing things if I'm not learning them too? But how did you get around, jack of all trades, master of none? Like, how did you finally go, okay, or have you come to a place where there are things I can't learn, but I'll bring on team?
Yeah.
I'll know enough high level to be able to say, this is what we need, and then direct team.
Yeah.
When did you know to make that shift? Because I know that many business owners, CEOs, CMOs, CVOs, they have a hard time in those conversations I have with them letting go what they think their responsibility is. And also, often they want to be the smartest person in the room. I never want to be the smartest person.
I don't want to be me either. If I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm probably in the wrong room. I want to be where the smarter people will be.
I love that. Yes.
I think it's a fine balance between, like what you said, knowing enough of a high level, because at the end of the day, it's all about vision and strategy. Because as a business owner, as a CEO, your primary job now is to create that vision. There's that's not something that we can delegate. It's my job to create that vision. And part of it is knowing what's out there, where are we going next, what's the moonshot. So I still need to have a little bit of a high level knowledge of, okay, this is what the market demands, this is how we're going to do it. But the nitty gritty of it, like the automations, the funnels, the workflows, the ads and everything, I don't have the brain cell for it. I don't have the time.
You're making me tired thinking about all those things, because I have done all the, wait, SEMrush course, sure, university creation, 12 weeks, I can do that. And you're like, why did I need to go learn that?
No.
That's not my wheelhouse.
No.
I can hire people who know how to do that.
Yeah.
So how do you educate your team? So now you're building team as well, and you're leading a mission and a message. Do you meet with them once a week? Are you meeting them individually? How are you scaling your company so that you can better help others scale theirs?
Whenever a new team member joins my team, especially if they directly report to me, one of the things that I did that I think really shape how my team does their job really well is that I dedicate as much time with them as much as I could. Case in point, when I hired my executive assistant, her first week, I met with her every day. Not because I want to overwhelm her with so many tasks that I need to delegate, but I was just meeting with her every day because I need to educate her in terms of what my expectations are, how do I talk, what's my tone of voice, what's my standard, what does the business look like, what does the business need right now. These are the things that I need them to be knowledgeable from the very beginning so that they understand where I'm coming from. So really
Nice.
investing time in your team is so important, but also knowing what exactly is the kind of help that you need at this stage of your business. I told you this when we were on our on our way here in the studio earlier. My very first hire, I just hired an all-around assistant, somebody who can help me with a little bit of bookkeeping, a little bit of sales, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of here and there, like an all-arounder. But then when my business hit the six figures, I know that I don't need an all-arounder. I need somebody who's a specialist. So I need a marketing specialist. I need a finance specialist. I need a customer service representative. So the ability to look at your business and see, okay, where am I right now? Do I still need a generalist, or now is the time to hire and invest in a specialist?
Oh, a
It's so crucial in
generalist
scaling.
versus a specialist.
Yeah.
That is crucial because that's what helps you scale.
Yeah.
And then being able to share that vision with them. And I think sometimes people get that many conversations I have and facilitating a room of businesses. It's interesting how many conversations I'll have in a week that say, I can't afford X, or I don't want to meet with my team that many times because I'm paying them by the hour. And yet if you just looked at how do you scale that investment? Like, what if that grew for you? What if that 10-hour week or that 5-hour week of getting that team started and really instead of 1 hour week, 'cause you're always picking up where you left off on that 1 hour week. At least that's what I found. So meeting weekly, but then having a team that feels encouraged to ask you question, to own their new role and not feel like they're just an order taker.
No, definitely not. And I think in the age of AI, where a lot of things can be automated, a lot of things can just be here in an instant, like do a research on this and there you go. ChatGPT did the research for you. The role of your team is now evolving, that they are not order takers anymore. Because you can just ask ChatGPT to do that for you, or you can do the automations to do that for you. So essentially the role of your team now is now being your thought partners, now being your project managers if you have like a campaign or project. So it's now different. And I think that's one thing that whenever I get asked about my industry, like, hey, do you think people will still need assistance because we now have AI? Yes, the role of a virtual assistant did not change. It just evolved into being a thought partner and project manager. Because to me, as a business owner, I still need those. I can't manage my multiple campaigns that are going on right now in my business. So we still need those people.
Well, and I tell everybody, the AI is your brainstorm buddy.
Yeah.
It is not supposed to duplicate you. All these bots that are out there, it's only going to be as good as the questions you put in it.
Yep.
However, it's not the end all be all for your solution. I have some people tell me, oh, chat's my new business coach. I'm like,
no, please.
That goes for you. Because how is it seeing your blind spots? How is the AI looking at, it might give you a really good idea, but how many really good ideas do entrepreneurs really need every day? Please. You just keep going down those same rabbit holes.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get nothing done because your brain is in 60 million different spaces. And I think people are really craving that human conversation now. They want to know that they're not talking to, I mean, there's a point where you talk to a robot, but then you get in, you need to be sifting through your clients or your prospects, right? So that's okay. But at some point, it has to be you.
Yeah.
And when you lose touch with your community, which I think has really happened in the last couple years, then you lose touch with who you are, which then doesn't allow you to continue to lead. It doesn't help you in your growth strategy. And I love what you said because, learners are earners and readers are leaders.
Yes, I like that. I'm going to borrow that, actually.
I'm going to let you. Here's the thing. I didn't come up with that. It's something I've said for 30 years that I must have heard or read somewhere. So what are you reading right now?
I just finished the book called The Science of Scaling. It really is good, especially if you're scaling your business, because it's not just, we talk about moonshot. Scaling your business is not just about moonshot. It's actually raising your floor, raising your minimum standards, raising the bare minimum of what are you gonna accept in your business, because the moonshot will be a moonshot. It's gonna be there. We're gonna get there, but until you raise your standards, as you raise your moonshot, that's really how the game will change for you and your business.
Wow. So share with everybody. You've given so many great tips, Khryzza, already. So you guys are going to have to go back and take notes because seriously, they might not have picked it. People who are listening or watching might not have picked up on them, but I certainly have. I'm sitting here going, mental check, mental check. So what is if you had a magic wand to wave in a year, what would your business look like for you?
It's gonna be composed of a group of women business owners like me who are scalers, because that's something that I'm launching this year. Next month, actually, we are launching our masterclass, and then a few weeks after that, we're launching our mastermind, where we are now making scaling easy, specifically for small business owners, women business owners, because we can scale. And to be honest, the way I look at it, if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, it is a non-negotiable for you to scale. Because either way, you are scaling. Either you're scaling your chaos, you're scaling your uncertainty, or you're scaling your profit. I like to scale my profit.
Yes. Let's sign up for increased revenue in the bank. And not just increased revenue that you're not paying yourself. Because there is a difference between, I grossed, $250,000 this year. Okay, but what did you pay yourself out of that $250,000? Seriously, how are you? What does that look like? If I had a client and it was $17,000.
Wow.
Like, or I don't pay myself. I just use the money that's in the bank account. Well, if you're not getting used to collecting a check, even if you're only write yourself a check and put it back in your business.
Yeah.
There's some smart tax strategy around that.
Correct. Yeah.
But I love that you shared that because I think that's a miss. And you're right. It's not just about scaling. And you can only scale two ways. Adding, because we only have the same 1,440 minutes a day.
Yeah.
So you're scaling either by adding people on your team that are helping you grow, helping your sales, helping you do more, or you're scaling because you have a passive income, something you've created that somebody wants, and it's just this automatic marketing.
Correct. Yeah.
In your funnel on your website. That's where it lives. Or you're scaling by increasing what your packages are and what you charge as an entrepreneur, or your product or service. You're increasing the price. And it's really interesting how many people, or you're scaling by finding experts in your team that are no longer journalists. So there's only a few ways you can scale your business. Yeah. And I think that you've really touched on some things that people hadn't thought about. And that's what I really wanted for this episode beginning the year, is how and what should I be. Truth be told, these things should have been thought about back in September and October. But for that brand new entrepreneur who's just finding this story, or that even corporate CEO in business who's already running a multi-million-dollar company, but they want to know how to scale to next level. They say once you've hit your first 7, then the work begins.
Because that now the platform is bigger. The purpose is even more immediate because now you have the resources. There's no excuse for you anymore. Like the access is there, the resources is there. But I think one last thing, Veronica, that I would love to share is the concept of LTV, or the lifetime value of your client. This is basically the total number of revenue, referrals, amount of money that your client has given you in their lifetime of them being a client by you. You have to understand what's the lifetime value of your client, and you have to look at your client's list and look at it from a POV of, okay, who are my top 5 clients with the highest LTV? Because those are your most valuable clients. And your most valuable clients may not necessarily be your highest paying client. This could be your client who probably gave you a moderate amount of money and investment, but recommended 10 more businesses to you. They are your most valuable clients. So as you scale, you want to take care of your most valuable clients. You want to protect that client lifetime value. You want to increase that lifetime value. So don't just think about it in a way of, I need to get more customers, or, I need to increase my price. Take care of the people who already bought in.
Saying yes to you.
Exactly.
They're already your flamethrowers. They're your raving fans. They're going to be out there cheering you on and being your greatest cheerleader and fan, and get the referral from them. Invite them to, hey, leave me a review, or whether it's a video, and use tools that help you do that so that you can show up in a bigger way in that visibility piece.
Exactly. Invite them to the mission. Invite them to your purpose.
Love that. Wow. Okay, so if people want to get a hold of you and they want to learn more, how do they do that? And we'll make sure we put it in the show notes as well.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Our website is CoWorq.co, CoWorq.co. It's unique as my name. Nothing is very common in my world. So please visit us, or follow us on social media. I always love to be in connection with our fellow business owners. I feel like we need to bond more together, because we are not meant to do business alone.
I love that. There is no I hate solopreneur, because there really truly is not solopreneur, but it's out there. So we need to make sure that we're helping them grow and scale, because they're only going to do, they say that money only makes you more of what you already are. So let's continue to find those heart-centered, aligned companies that are wanting to make a difference and already making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
So talk about, really quick, the last question I have for you is, you spoke about making a difference in the Philippines. What kind of difference have you made since the inception of your business?
I think the biggest accomplishment that we have is the fact that, for some of you who don't know the social dynamics in the Philippines, at least 10% of our population is what we call OFWs, or overseas Filipino workers. These are Filipinos like my mom and my dad who are forced to leave the country, go to another country so that they can have higher paying jobs, and then they can send money back home. They did it for decades, probably at least 5 decades now, so that they can send their kids like me to better school, so that their kids like me can have a better shot at life. That's the norm. And that's why it's not uncommon that you see Filipinos on cruise ships, Filipino nurses here in the United States. They send their money back home in the Philippines. But the biggest accomplishment that we have is, at least my generation, which are millennials, Gen Z, and hopefully the Generation Alpha, we're now rethinking about the concept of OFWs, because if you can have a more than livable wage while working from home in your home country, you don't need to leave your family. You don't need to leave me when I was a second grader, my younger sister when she was 1 year old, and my youngest sister when she was 1 month old. You don't need to leave those kids anymore.
Wow.
So that's probably the biggest accomplishment. I can talk about the profit, the revenue, the scaling, the number of jobs that we created, but that generational shift and movement is probably the biggest accomplishment and the biggest difference that my team and a lot of our clients are helping us turn into reality.
Well, and it's not only generational wealth that you're providing, but it's legacy.
It is.
And that shift is different.
It is.
Well, Khryzza, thank you so much for being here with us today. And I want to thank you with my Hello Sunshine box. So thank you for being a guest on Be Visible with Veronica.
Thank you.
And for sharing all your brilliance. And I wish you so much success. And I'm so honored to have a front seat in watching you scale and grow and hit your 1,000,000 times a million and see you 10x again.
Yes, I'm on my way to my next 10x, so stay tuned.
Keep going for that moonshot. I love it. Thank you. Well, if you've enjoyed everything that you've listened to today, please make sure that you should subscribe and share it with others so they can hear the story themselves and be inspired by Khryzza's story. Miss Khryzza Kelley, who created CoWorq, who co-founded it with her husband, and watching them make an impact not just in the United States, but around the world and in the Philippines. And I welcome you to come into our next episode when we speak with Beth Brantley next week. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.